Hey, anybody listening? So, I wanted to go ahead and, make this note on what it is that masculinity and femininity are, because I keep seeing so much of this happening in social media. It's been brought to my attention from my little sister because she's now, she just turned 15. She's going out into the world wanting to understand what's going on. She's seeing all these different influencers and their different ideas about what it is to be a masculine, what it is to be a feminine, what it is that any of that means, how it is that men and women coexist, live, create, all of that, right? And there's so much confusion out there. Everybody's got a perspective, I suppose. So I guess I'm just going to give one that I believe is a healthier perspective, right? But it's my own, so take it as a grain of salt. Yeah. Masculinity and femininity. If you look at any spiritual teachings, going back to like super basic things like, yin and yang, man, like, freedom, order, right? That is masculine. That is feminine. Now, how does that I know that's not as easy to look at and, has a long history. It does have a long history behind it, but it doesn't have a long physical history of men and women, cultures of what it is to be a man, cultures of what it is to be a woman. But it does matter. These are the things that are so important that aren't being said in this conversation. What it is to be masculine, what it is to be feminine. Masculine is structure. It's standing. It's walking. It's action in accordance with your beliefs. Now, how do you get your beliefs? That would be the feminine, the receptive, understanding, right? Understanding the world around you, understanding what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what could be, and then taking action on that is what creates results. That is what you get to do as a human being. You get to be embodied in both your masculine and feminine energy. It is not just this idea of, now one side of ourselves is supposed to carry the whole load of that, and then the other side of ourselves is supposed to carry the whole load. I feel like we're trying to push that off in the way that we're talking about masculine and feminine in popular culture today. I was just watching something on Joe Rogan. My little sister's been talking to me about Andrew Tate. And there's so much that we haven't learned and that we haven't integrated, because to have people still talking about the world through this lens of needing to be tough, needing to fight, to be monsters. Otherwise, we're going to fall into ruin. No, that is the ruin. That is the ruin. I don't know if you've looked at anybody who's ever made a real social change in this world, something that actually really matters, that made our lives better. Okay? Jesus, the Buddha, Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. These people, you know what they did? And I mean, fair enough. These are just male representations. I'm sorry, female audience. But you know what they did? Oh my gosh. They stood for something. They stood for what really mattered. They stood for what they understood about the world, what they truly saw, what they received from witnessing what is right, truly, not just because we say so, not because we make laws about it, but what truly makes sense. What is the real, honest to God truth of the world? They stood for that. They stood for that. They listened to that and they said, I will take actions as if that is the truth and that is how I will live my life. And they changed things dramatically. They did much more than anybody who was fighting other people or protecting themselves with guns and mayhem ever did. I promise you that. I promise you that. Without a doubt. It's pointless, this idea of protection, of needing to be tough or needing to be, like some sort of angry force, a force monger, I would call it, right? Where structure goes wrong. The idea of needing to force, okay, my structure is going to have to overpower your structure. No, then you're not listening anymore. You fell out of line. You fell out of sync with yin, man, with the feminine. You fell out of line with paying attention. Then you're lost. You are absolutely lost. And this goes for men and women. This isn't just a man thing, but it's such an important conversation that's coming up for young men, especially when people are in their ear telling them that that's the right way to be. No. What do you mean that's the right way to be? That's how we've gotten this world that we created. All right? What did Jesus give us? He gave us a way out. What did, King Saul or any king that has come through that was a warmonger that took over a people by force, Genghis Khan, whatever, right? This world. This is the world that they gave us. And I'm going to tell you right now that this is hell, man. This is hell. We're fixing it. I really believe that every single day, every single person is living their own experience. You could be in heaven or hell. But the default way that you come out into this world, or the way that they bring you up in this world is hell. Because it takes a long time to get out of these ideas that we've created from the idea of force, the idea of the whip, man, the idea of a whip and a slave, and economics, man. It's a tough situation. So yes, okay, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, this system works for that. This is what it was built on. So go ahead, step on people, kick them while they're down. Don't let them get back up. Don't give them any rest. This goes for yourself too, and how you treat yourself, right? Because that's what discipline is. And that's how this world works. So keep doing that. Yeah, that's exactly what we want, huh? This hell. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And I think that there is a large movement of people that are looking and finding and understanding what it really means to be human, to exist, to live in truth, to live in harmony, to understand ourselves, to understand the world beyond us. It starts with us as every single person. Hey, editing Manuel here. Realize that I didn't talk about how the yin goes wrong, right? How the feminine can go wrong too. This idea of receiving. I think that the feminine goes wrong once it decides to ignore, essentially, to start, or I guess it's a different way, right? I talked about how the masculine, if you start ignoring in terms of listening, then you start forcing. With the feminine, if you start ignoring what's happening, right? The structure of things, and it gets out of whack with what you truly believe, right? It's like getting stepped on, right? Getting stepped on. This is where we get these ideas of, domination and submission. That's where you're out of whack there, right? And that's not the way either. What is the way, right? Well, I keep talking about Jesus in here and other figures like him that have come through and I think stood for what they truly believed after they heard and understood the world, is that truly just building, listening, understanding, building, moving forward in that motion. If someone knocks it over, let them. You'll build it again. And if they knock it over after that, let them. You'll build it again because it matters. And if you come to a point where someone is trying to step on you, then you stand for it. You use your voice. You talk to them. You connect. Because honestly, the rhythm of this world is for that. To connect. To understand. It's love, right? Connect. And if there's no conversation to be had, then stand for it. If they're going to take you out, if they're going to kill you, if they're going to do whatever, that's on them. If that scares you, conquer that fear, young woman. Conquer that fear, young man. This life is meant for more than doing things that we wouldn't do for fear of death. Death is not going to force me to be anyone but who I truly am. And I hope that death is not going to force you either. Ultimately, the same is for fear. Fear is not going to force me to do anything. And fear should not force you to do anything. I hope not. Because that's the start of the end. So listen to yourself. Listen to what's going on with other people. Listen to what really matters. Listen to the way that the world functions outside. Listen to the ideas that have come through us through philosophy, through religion, through all the different things. And then stand for what you truly, truly believe in. stand for it, and be open to listen to someone else. Be open to listen to someone else. I'm grateful for the men and women that are taking on those conversations, that want to understand what it is to really be a man, be a woman, to be in our masculine, to be in our feminine. And I want to add to that conversation with this. So thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.